Welcome, everybody. Welcome to the You Think You Know podcast. I'm Hilton Slamet, your host. This is going to be a podcast where you can follow my journey, you can get to know me, you can get to know what we do, what I do, how I got to do what I'm doing. And it's something that I've been trying to do for quite some time, and I just always thought I'm not ready, and then just all of a sudden just decided, okay, let's do this. I am currently a professional dog breeder. I breed two different kind of dogs, the American Bully, primarily extreme pocket bullies, and also French Bulldogs. But before this, there's been a journey. There's been quite a lot of ups and downs. There's been dreams, there's been goals, there's been all sorts of life experiences in the past 4 years and also previously. So the first few episodes, I would like to share some of those experiences and some of those journeys with you. I grew up in South Africa, lived in Paarl up until I was 9 years old. And then because of opportunities that my father got at the time, we immigrated to South Korea, where I finished my schooling career and played a little bit of competitive basketball. I then, at the age of 19, just shy of 19, decided that South Africa is where I want to live, and I decided to come back. It wasn't easy adapting back into South Africa because everything I knew was the Korean way. I obviously lost a lot of contact with a lot of people, so becoming part of the community and the society in South Africa was a challenge, as it was when I went over to South Korea. But because of life, I adapt quickly. I decided to start building relationships and meaningful ones. But things change, friends come and go, and life has taught me hard lessons and some valuable ones that I still keep dear to my heart till today. And yeah, all my experiences has shaped me as a person, and it shaped my path as an entrepreneur, and it also allowed me to eventually follow my passion. So this podcast is just to share that with you so that everybody, maybe a youngster watching, can see that there's a relatable topic, there's something that he or she feels that at that moment feels impossible. But let me tell you, I come from a very rocky upbringing. Rocky is maybe not the right word. Mom and dad loves each other. They married. They're stable. They're still in South Korea. I'm the only one back. But rocky in the sense that we've been through quite the ups and downs as a family. Me as an individual, when certain downs came, I went through the emotion of trying to fend for myself and sort of push the family one side. And those experiences and lessons that I've learned is things that made me stronger as a person. I'm not going to go into much detail. That's not my story to tell. But my experiences will be shared with you. I came back to South Africa knowing that going back to South Korea would never be an option. With my family or my wife or my kids, that's never an option. So I needed to figure things out and start grinding, hustling, working all over the place. And the reason why South Korea is never an option for me is because, yes, today South Korea is a modern society. It's different to when I was there. So when I went over, I was the first South African, or first foreigner for that matter, that where both parents are non-Koreans, to be registered in a Korean public school. I was also the first non-Korean to be deputy head boy of a South Korean public school. I went to a Korean public school because my parents was average. They were working class people, and there wasn't money for private schools or English schools at the time. So I had to go to a Korean public school. I was put into a grade 4 class, never heard the language, never spoke the language. I was at a school with a pupil count or a student count of about 3,000 learners in that primary school. And in my grade, there was probably 3, 4, maybe 5 people that could speak English fluently. It was a challenge. It was tough. It was something that I needed to learn the language, number one, and then the ways of school. It's something that I was never exposed to, and I was thrown in the deep end, and I eventually started swimming. The journey wasn't easy, and the schooling journey especially. I was an outcast. I was outsider. No, I was an outsider. I was bullied physically, mentally, emotionally for majority of my schooling career in South Korea. And just because of that, exposing my kids to the possibility of experiencing that is not an option. I've got a beautiful son and daughter, a lovely wife of 12 years. When things were tough, that did cross our minds, because there's a life there that we could possibly live. But because of my experiences as a youngster in South Korea, it was not an option for me. I then started working odd jobs. My first job as a youngster or as a teenager in South Korea was at a chicken joint, chicken and beer. That was their vibe. So I worked there as a waiter, and then I knew that whatever I do in life, I want to sort of work with people on an active basis. New people every day, new environments, new personalities. But obviously I was 16, 17 years old. I didn't exactly know what I wanted to do in life. Yeah, coming back to South Africa, as a 19-year-old, I was all over the place. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to study, if that was an option. I didn't know who to look at, what to do at that time, because my parents sent me over back to South Africa by myself. Primarily, it was my choice. But coming back, everybody that you know when you come on holiday, people that you interact with are now in either permanent jobs, or they are studying, or they've got a life. It's not a holiday. I'm back permanently, so I need to figure something out. Went through a little bit of a rebellious phase. Yeah, I started learning Afrikaans again, because it's something that I never really had exposure to when I was at school in South Korea, obviously. My grandfather actually taught me a little bit, and actually what I know of Afrikaans today. Reading and writing is still not a strong suit for me. I can speak the language, but I can't read and write fluently. And yeah, grandfather and I also had a little bit of differences in opinions with regards to what I need to do and what he feels I need to do. And I was always a stubborn child, a stubborn person. If I don't feel that this is what I want to do, then I simply just didn't do it. But all my grandfather knew, besides farm life, before he decided to leave the nest and come to the city, was teaching. He was a teacher for 38 years, principal, retired as a principal, and he wanted me to follow that path, which was something that I promised myself. It's not it's not an option. I experienced a little bit of teaching in Korea as a part-time job. And not that I didn't enjoy it, but it just wasn't me. And then started working at a nightclub, at a gym, at a fitness center. Was a freelance fitness coach, non-qualified obviously, because it was still in the phases of trying to figure out what I wanted to do. And at the gym, I decided, okay, maybe in this direction is what I want to do. Is more active lifestyle. It's more sport orientated. I can meet new people. I can work with people. I can work through challenges with people. And I decided to go to university and study sports management. So it's a very misleading course name because there's less sports and more management. And after the first semester, I also just realized that this is not really what I wanted to do. I stuck it out for the first year. Mid-second year, obviously started skipping classes, not doing too great in my assessments or tests or exams. The dean of the university actually made a call to my father. And at that time, they were briefly back in South Africa. Told my father that I'm technically passing my course, but I'm going to fail on attendance. And the lecturers don't know where I am, and they haven't seen me in a while, and they don't know what's happening. And my father made the executive decision to come down to the university and pick me up, and just told me that I'm done studying. He's not going to entertain this level of commitment. I need to come to where he's now got a business. At that time it was in Heidelberg, another small town in South Africa. And he told me that I need to come work in the factory with him. At the time he was doing graphic designing and manufacturing of t-shirts and hoodies and all sorts of printable items. And he told me that I need to come work. He didn't really tell me what I needed to do, but I needed to work because I wasn't going to live in his house with not carrying my own weight. So I sort of took the reins and started doing a little bit of marketing, more door-to-door selling type of marketing, and realized that I should actually be selling. Whatever I'm selling, I was enjoying, and it was something that I was good at. I consider myself an above average salesperson. Went from selling printable goods to life policies and cell phones. I was working for Vodacom for about a year. I worked for Old Mutual for just shy of a year and a half. And I then had an opportunity to use my language skill to work for a company as a translator, but it required a lot of traveling, which is portrayed to be very glamorous, because you travel for free all over the world while you're doing something that I don't really consider a stimulating job. So I was translating for a corporate company, active translation, so going to all sorts of countries, and the ones that I remember not so fondly is countries like Uganda, DRC Congo. And the reason why I say not so fondly is because the experience wasn't great. It wasn't a leisure experience, it was a business experience, but also not the easiest business sector that the company was in to actually make a good success of the traveling. But nonetheless, I did it for about 2 years. Obviously, more global experience. I was, like I said, all over the place. I was in multiple countries in Africa. I was in multiple countries in Asia for this period. About 3 weeks before I had to re-sign for the next year's contract, I decided to go on a job hunt. I was done. I couldn't put my family through that anymore, because I was away from home for up to 9 weeks at a time, and that wasn't really the agreement with the company, but it ended up being that way. Yeah, I went on a job hunt, and through the grapevine, a previous salesperson that used to assist my father in buying cars actually let me know, listen, yeah, if you're looking for something and you want to try out the motor industry, a place in Paarl, a well-known dealership, is looking for a salesperson. I went there, handed my CV in physically. I had a chat with one of the managers there. Yeah, about a week later, I started, and I started as a salesperson for this second-hand dealership. They are specialized in a more upmarket, high-end car. Clients was not a specific type of client. It was all over the place. I would sell a 20,000 Rand or 30,000 Rand car today, and on the same day I would sell a million Rand car. That actually unlocked the actual salesperson in me. That experience, I was there for 9 months. I did exceptionally well. I then got an opportunity to go to a more established dealership, one brand dealership, premium brand. It's a premium brand considered anywhere in the world. The skills I learned at the first car dealership I worked at was all relevant, and I could implement them seamlessly, because the one thing I learned there is every client that walks into the doors gets the same level of attention, gets the same quality and the same level of service. Yeah, I thought that was what I wanted to do for a large period of my life. I enjoyed it. I was good at it. I believe I could probably still be doing it, but I had a difference of opinion to some of the management there, and I was looking at some other ventures in a different industry, and it wasn't acceptable by management for me to look into building something on the side that's not related to the motor trade. It wasn't taking any time from me from an employee perspective, but they didn't accept me venturing out and trying to do something else other than work for them. Yeah, so management not being happy with me venturing out to do basically anything else didn't sit well with me, because I thought, okay, I would eventually like to build and start and venture into something that is mine. I've always had that desire to work for myself. I thought the best way at the time was to do it while having a stable income, and that's where the dogs came in. I started sort of breeding dogs at home, acquired my first American Bully when I was probably at the company for about 2 years. And prior to that, I was obsessed with the breed, but I never had the means to acquire one, and had one litter. It sold fairly easily. I didn't do it full time. I was testing the waters, trying things out. And with the one litter that had a decent success, I decided to acquire 2 more dogs. I bought a male. If you look at my Gemini Pets logo, he's actually the model for that, and that logo used to be the kennel name that I worked under, which was Gemini Bullies. Actually, it started off to be used as my kennel logo, and I was going to be a breeder, and it was going to be what I do and what I built a side hustle on. And then things became a little rocky at my place of employment, and we decided to part ways. And at the time, I didn't have a plan. I didn't have any idea what I was going to do. I called my wife and I told her, look, you need to come pick me up at work. I am no longer employed. As shocked as she was when I realized that there's not going to be any more constant income or reliable income, it became a concern for myself. I became concerned about the future, about the path forward. So I was stressed. I was worried. I was unsure. I was stressed. I was worried. I was unsure. I didn't know where my next paycheck was going to come from. I did build a good relationship within the motor industry, so I could buy and sell the odd car here and there, and that sort of kept me afloat for a little bit, but it wasn't something I was enjoying anymore. I was struggling to find the love and passion for it again, and I was scared that if I follow my breeding idea or my dog's idea, that I would lose the love and passion for that too. So I was sort of between a rock and a hard place. I wasn't sure what to do, but decided to put together a little bit of a concept. It started all started with an idea, and the idea it came from what I saw in South Korea with regards to how the pet industry operates, the dog breeding industry, the pet industry, primarily dogs, and it operated in such an efficient manner. And this efficiency is due to their lack of space. So space is something that we have abundance of. And the concept was to do as much as possible, as many services as possible from one location, not having an excuse of the lack of space. And this was all an idea. It was a dream. It was something that I came up with in my mind. I never had an example to look at. I didn't think of the market. I didn't think of the income potential. I didn't think of anything that's important in the corporate world. It was literally just an intellectual being. There was nothing physical to say, I want to build something like this, or I want to do something like that. It was all an idea. But this idea became stronger and stronger, and it started sort of haunting me, because the more I started thinking about it, and the more I started putting this idea into something to be physical and conceptualizing the idea, the more I realized, but there's a strong possibility that this could be me. This could be what I'm supposed to do. And it took me to a point that made where we're sitting today and what I'm doing today a reality. But before it got to this point, it was an idea, and I needed to sell this idea to somebody, because remember, I didn't have a job, I didn't have any sustainable income, I didn't have mommy or daddy's money. I needed to figure it out, and I needed to go and chase this dream. Yeah, and in the next few episodes, I'm going to take you on that journey. I hope you enjoyed the first episode of my podcast. I'm really excited to take you guys, those that's interested, those that wants to learn, those that wants to just get that little bit of motivation that anything is possible, along with me on this journey, because I don't have any particular special skill. I don't have a degree behind my name. I don't have wealth. But the one thing I do have, it's something that's so valuable, and it's something that has been taught to me by adversity, by life, by going through challenges, and that's tenacity. So being tenacious and just not stopping. A no for me is something that I brush off my shoulder, and I go on to the next one to find that yes. So if you want to go along this journey with me, to realize that all it takes is a little bit of dedication, tenacity, and some hair on your teeth to make an absurd idea a reality. Come along and enjoy the journey with me, and you're more than welcome to ask questions, and in future episodes we'll go through those questions, and we'll try and engage with you as much as we can. I'm saying it's become a habit of speech, because it's something that I realized through the hardship, that I'm not alone. I've got a community of people behind me. I've got my family. I've got my 2 kids. I've got God that has guided me, and that has given me everything that I've got to be able to chase a dream. He's given me the dream. So I've never been alone, and we and they and them is all habits of speech now, because the journey has been a fruitful one. It's been an interesting one. It's been a tough one, but there's so much more that's going to happen in the near future, and I would like to show you guys that, and I would like to take you guys on that journey with me. Thanks for tuning in.